Good evening, Royal We live chat family. Hello, everybody. It's good to have you here. I'm not exactly sure who's on as of yet. Looks like we're just now getting started, but I am super excited to be here with you tonight. So welcome, everybody. I'm going to wait just a few minutes here, give some people an opportunity to sign on, and be sure to say hello and let us know where you're at, where you are in from. Hello, 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 everybody. It's good to see you here. Tonight I'm excited to be here with you all, and I'm excited to let me see what's going on here in the chat, what it's saying. Some streaming tips. I don't need that. There's everybody. Lorna Dixon, how are you? It's good to see you here. I'm glad that you're here, Lorna. Here for you. I did get your messages, and I'm definitely here for you, Lorna. Lori Elliott, how are you doing? Salon Savvy 64, how are you? Candy, it's good to see you. Emily Hobbs in the house. Everybody's eyes are wide open. Hi, Maria, free to be, watching from Phoenix. Minnesota Jude, what's going on, man? Joe in the know. Hey, everybody. One Trans, good to see you. All right, it's good to see everybody here tonight. Welcome to Royal We Live Chat. Those of you who are new, happy to be here with you. Happy to have this Monday night. And I know today was a holiday. I'm not exactly sure what holiday today was. Let me see. I want to look it up real quick just because I'm curious. Holiday, today's holiday. What is it? Today's holiday is, so I can say what happy holiday it is. What holiday is today? National Checkers Dogs in Politics Day? No, that's not it. National Great American Pot Pie Day? No. National Snack Stick Day? Come on, where do I find what the real day is for today? National Kimberly Day, October 11th. World Obesity Day? Look, listen, I'm going to tell you all, do not Google what is today's holiday because you're going to get weird stuff. Here's what I got. Today, National Kimberly Day, World Obesity Day, Cardi B's birthday, National Coming Out Day, National Sausage Pizza Day. Okay. All right. I don't think any of that is it. Can somebody help me out with what today is? Columbus Day. Oh, why is it? Why, when I Googled today's holiday, did it not say Columbus Day? How come it gave me all this weird stuff? National Pot Pie Day and Snack Stick Day. By the way, what is a snack stick? Can somebody please tell me what a snack stick is? I don't even know. I don't think I've ever had a snack stick. It's Indigenous Peoples Day. Mental Health Day. Yeah, I feel like it's my own mental health day because I don't even know what day it is. National Migration Day. National Coming Out Day. Everybody's getting the same things as me. It's just weird. Google is weird. What is today? National Coming Out. National Sausage Pizza Day. And Snack Stick Day. All right. Anyways, enough of that. I think we had one legitimate answer, and today said that today is Columbus Day. So, but it just goes to show you that people rank Columbus Day up there with Snack Stick Day and Coming Out Day and Sausage Pizza Day, apparently. But I'm happy to be here with y'all. I'm so excited to be here for a Monday night bubblegum day. I like that, Minnesota Jude. Bubblegum Day. Pumpkin Day. Today I went out to a pumpkin patch, got some pumpkins for today. Columbus then. Yeah, we're going to settle on Columbus. Out of all the days we've talked about, I think we're settling on Columbus. So as I said, it's so good to be here with you all tonight. And I've had some good feedback on some videos that I posted recently. Most recently, a video on Gabby Petito, Brian Laundrie on Brian Laundrie's, what was the most recent video that I shared about? Something to do with Brian Laundrie being evil, found being evil, something to that extent, which is true. which is true. Now, I'm going to follow that video up. You can expect another video most likely tomorrow. It's going to be kind of a part 2 on that, where I'm going to dive deeper into whether or not, my thoughts on whether or not Brian Laundrie, in the case of Brian Laundrie and Gabby Petito, by the way, I know that a lot of people don't like the idea of continuing to stir this pot, Brian Laundrie, Gabby Petito. We live in a world where horrible things are happening to people all the time. But I find this case specifically unique because we got a peek inside of their very volatile, hostile relationship. And there's so much there to unpack. Everything from what Gabby was doing in that relationship. I mean, to me, it's everything we work so hard to do, is to save people like Gabby in those situations, to be able to reach out and just get her out of that relationship prior to something horrible happening. Because I believe that in the back of our minds, in all of our minds, we know that many times we were stuck in relationships where something horrible could have happened. And we have to check ourselves. Why are we in those situations? Why do we get stuck in it? And we just need to work on pulling ourselves out. Me personally, I think that we can spend all day long arresting all the Brian Laundries of the world, but nothing is still going to stop people from not waking up and staying away from these toxic relationships. And that's why personally I'm talking so much about it and making examples out of it, hoping and praying that people will watch these videos and say, oh my gosh, that could have been me, or oh my gosh, that is me, and I better get out of this relationship before something bad happens. I mean, at some point, we've got to do enough crying, we've got to do enough begging, we've got to do enough pleading, and we have to be in this position where we get that nothing we do, no matter how nice we are, how loving we are, nothing we do is going to change that narcissistic person, whether it is our dad, our mom, our brother, our sister, our best friend, somebody who we thought loved us. We have to step away from that, and we have to shake off whatever we lost in that relationship, whether it's our dignity, whether it's we gave away a piece of our heart, a piece of our body, a piece of our mind, whatever, we separate ourselves from that, because it's not worth losing more just to try to hang on to the fact that you gave your body away, or you gave a piece of your mind away or heart away. We just have to sever that and suffer that loss, and so that we can live. You can always rebuild. You can always regain back what you feel you've lost. But if it gets to the point where domestic violence and hostility and physical aggression, ultimately you can lose so much more. That's where you pay the ultimate price. And that's where I believe happened with Gabby Petito. Ultimately, she paid the ultimate price, not separating herself, not having the right kind of support system. So we're changing that to get that support system in there. One of the things that I want to talk about this week, and then I'll turn to you guys, turn to the telephones. By the way, telephone is plugged in. Anybody who would like to call, stop me from talking, you're more than welcome to call and stop me from talking anytime. You know, I'm here for you. Or questions here. I know Tanya's in the house, and she'll hopefully flash me with questions. But Brian Laundrie, I'm going to put out a video tomorrow talking about this idea that Brian Laundrie, people want to know if he's alive or dead. And one of the ideas that I'm going to try my best to get out there is that Brian Laundrie represents a demographic of people who are abusive personality types. He represents a demographic of narcissistic abuse, domestic violence, cluster B. He represents psychopathy, whatever you want to call it. It's what we are up against in the world. He represents this. And one of the ideas is that these people, this demographic of narcissistically abusive personality types, they really believe they can get away with these things. And even they run and they hide. And they fool themselves, because even as they're running and hiding, and even if they're living, they're dead. I guess you can say that they're dead alive, so to speak. And they carry with them a curse. And they may not even be aware of it, but they are. And we need to understand this too, because there's a demographic of people that can look at the Brian Laundries of the world and say, oh, he's probably gotten away with it. He's probably on some beach sipping a beer or whatever right now. And that's just not true. The reality is when you escape and run and try to hide from horrific things in life, you do in fact carry a curse with you. This is no matter who the person is, they lived cursed. Brian Laundrie is definitely cursed. If he is in fact still alive, he carries with him a curse as he's running and hiding. And it's important to understand this. These people never get away with it. They run from it, and they are always running, always with looking over their back. And so I'm going to talk later this week, or not later this week, tomorrow actually, about this curse that Brian Laundrie lives with, that I believe most narcissistic people live with to an extent. Most narcissistic, psychopathic, toxic people, they live with this curse all their lives. There's three of them in particular. When I'm going to be referencing talking about Brian Laundrie, the first one is that he has been banished. Obviously, he's banished from his hometown, banished from his home, banished from his neighborhood. What does this banishment mean? He can't show his face. He can't show his face. That in and of itself is a curse. I mean, forget any Thanksgiving get-togethers, Christmas get-togethers, parties, meeting up with friends, talking with people. It's done. He can't. He's banished. At the sight of his face, people are instantly going to call the cops, something. So he's banished. So part of the curse is, in fact, in hiding. That is a curse. Yeah, I mean, talk about isolation. You know, the difference is he has to. He has no choice. His life depends on it. Many of us feel like we get isolated when we leave toxic relationships, and that's because we choose to. In this case, he chose to, but he has to. His life depends on it, and so that's a very difficult banishing. The second part is that he's not able. Whatever he does in the land, whatever work, he can't work. He can't earn a living. He can't. How's he going to get a job? And what's he going to do? Turn in an ID and this is who I am. You know, Brian Laundrie. He can't get a job. He can't apply for credit. He won't be able to get a home, build a home. And a lot of people would say, well, he is a survivalist. He's lives in nature and this and that, a bunch of nonsense. Listen, just because somebody buys granola bars at Costco, perfect bars or whatever, it doesn't mean they know how to survive the elements of the wilderness. Eventually his box of granola bars will run out. And unless he's skilled in hunting and farming and growing fruits and knowing which berries are poisonous and which aren't, he's done. So my thoughts is, if he doesn't have his yogurt parfait granola dish, his short supply, he's going to have to get more. Without having a job and able to earn money, he most likely will have to steal. And eventually it's just going to catch up with him, right? And so then the last part of this curse is obviously these types of people, they tend to be, I thought somebody was asking me a question. The last part was that he'll be restless, a restless wanderer. He's forced to wander. So this is how most toxic people are, by the way. They go from relationship to relationship in this manner. Let's see, from Joe. Why do narcissists go from olive branch pretending to be saintly to crazy town the next day when you don't react or respond? To me, that's a good question, Joe, why it is. And I have tried to talk about this in a video of what triggers narcissistic rage, because narcissistic rage is triggered by all kinds of things. It could be triggered by something that you really like in life. So, for example, you could get a new phone. You could like Apple iPhone or something like that to that extent. And I've experienced this where they come unglued, right? Because it's something that you like. And the reason they go into a narcissistic rage with something you like is because it's exercising what we call authority. I know you don't look at it as authority, but you having something that you like in life is, in fact, an example of your own authority over yourself. You're taking authority over what you like and what you don't like. People who are narcissistic in nature, people who are psychopaths, sociopaths, these different types of cluster Bs, whatever you want to call them, these types of personalities, these abusive personality types, they really hate the presence of authority, period. And so when you come across with something that you're passionate about, when you exercise that authority in your own life, when you say, I prefer this to that, which is exercising authority, some people call it a place of agency, it triggers them because suddenly they're in the presence of authority, your authority over yourself. And this offends them. It scares them. And so they try to knock down your authority. So that's one reason they attack you. But that's not your question. Your question is why when you are not responding. Well, here's the next one. And this actually comes from the mouth of a psychopath who I posted in one of my videos. So the first one is authority, which will cause them to lash out. The second one is really strange to you and me anyways, but to them, it's really something they struggle with. And then this is when somebody feels safe. When somebody feels safe around them, safe in their own skin, confident, right? So this is a strange one. We don't understand it. Why do narcissistic people, abusive personalities, why do they hate and rage when somebody else around them feels safe? Out of the mouth of the psychopath in the video that I talked about, she said that she goes into this lady goes into gray rages whenever somebody feels safe. When somebody feels like they're safe, she feels she needs to correct them, that she's not safe. I don't understand why, and I don't think many people do. We don't understand the motivations of these toxic, narcissistic people or psychopaths, but the reality is if you come across as confident, safe, and your peace and your quiet and your unresponsiveness to them tells them that you feel safe. And as a result of feeling safe, they're going to lash out at you. How dare you feel safe? How dare you feel so safe in your own skin? And they really feel they need to punish you. And they will take it to as the lady said in that video, they'll take it to the nth degree to punish you and to tell you how wrong it is and for you to feel safe around them. I think it's because they don't feel safe. Narcissistic people, psychopaths, sociopaths, they don't live a life of feeling safe. This is why they're so aggressive. This is why they're on edge. They don't feel safe. They don't feel liked. They don't feel valued. They don't feel loved. They don't feel safe, period. And so when they see you confident and safe, it really triggers them. It annoys them, and they feel they need to correct you. So hopefully that answers that question, kind of. Let's see, what else do we got? Any other questions? Looks like everybody's doing good tonight. I'm just scrolling through to see if I missed anything. So what's going on with all you? Anybody have anything to share, anything to talk about and discuss? And by the way, I do have, for those of you who joined on just now, if you've joined on late, the phone number is up. It's pinned. I pinned the phone number up at the top. If you click on the top pin, you'll see the phone number. You're welcome to call in. Revived Lady says, no, Kevin. No, Kevin. No. Tanya says, can we talk about flying monkeys? Oh, boy. Flying monkeys. I'm not a fan of flying monkeys. I don't think anybody is. And then Mark asks, is it okay to treat someone like shit? Oh. Tanya, I already saw that question. So Tanya says, can we talk about flying monkeys? Mark asked if it's okay to treat people like shit if they've treated you like shit, as long as you don't hurt them, type of a thing. Chat rule number 1, no swearing. I dig that, Tanya. I am sorry, I just swore. But I was just reading the question. So thank you, Tanya, for keeping me in check and for keeping everybody in check. Mark Hobbs, can you please rephrase the question, eliminating the shiz-nizzle out of it, please? Because I do. I honor what Tanya is doing there in the chat. I agree. I don't like to say those words. I don't like to cuss and stuff. We try to keep it. We like to keep things G around here. Rated G. G for, because we're all adults. Just tried to call. Oh, there it is.
Call from Dory. To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press...
Hello, you're live on the Royal We.
Hi, Kevin. My name is Dory.
Hi, Dory.
And how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you for calling in.
I've had some better days, but what I'm calling to say is thank you.
Well, you're welcome.
For all of your sharing and time. I recently had to leave a relationship. I had a boyfriend. I live in California, and I met him in New York. And a few years ago, he had an affair when he went back to New York to do some work, and he had an affair and told me about it and told me the woman's name and said it was an ex-girlfriend. I moved out to California to be with him. I don't have family here. I came out here because I believed he was a kind, true, genuine person. But he left California almost at the start of the pandemic to take some more work back in the New York area. And every time he was supposed to come home, he was staying with cousins. Either he got COVID or his cousin got COVID. One time he fell and broke his ribs and couldn't come home. Another time he tried to drive his car and said his car wouldn't make it all the way. And each time I faltered and felt more and more sad and grieved because I was here with a faulty car during the global pandemic and the worst wildfire season in California's history.
It sounds like he was just. It sounds like he's full of excuses.
It gets worse, and I'll tell you how it ended, and I'll tell you how you helped me. Fast forward to the middle of September, and I knew he was staying with some cousins who had a great big giant party, and there was an inner urging that I had to find out more information, because at this point my instinct and my connection to divine or higher power or God or whatever you called was giving me an urging to try and find answers for myself. So I used that nemesis, social media, as a tool for the best, and I discovered a picture of him at this party with the woman he had the affair with. And I read on her social media that she had a other half who brought her a particular kind of coffee and brewed it for her that happened to be a very obscure high-end coffee brand and brew that he loved too. And then she said, when your fiance can't find his favorite ice cream, and favorite ice cream happened to be a gourmet brand in the favorite flavor that he happened to have.
So it wasn't there just an affair. They were fiance and they were planning to get married. Wow.
It gets worse.
Okay.
I continued with my inner urging, and again, I truly believe I was being led by a higher power. Again, God, divine, whatever you want to call it. And I went onto YouTube to find a video of the party, and there he is with her, sharing food, sharing drinks, with his arm around her, with her hand on him. And I called him and I sent him the screenshot and I said, is this that woman? And he flat out denied it. I found further proof on Facebook that he really was the fiance. I confirmed it with his mother.
Yeah.
And then he said he really wanted to work things out. He was going to be back on September 24th. And on Saturday night, I actually told him not to contact me anymore when I discovered he was
good for you. Good for you.
I didn't even have to hear that from you because I'm grateful for a recovery program that I have that has given me some spiritual strength. But I was really roped in by this person. And the worst part of it, and this is how you helped me, now I'll get to that, is that on Saturday night, I had that inner urging again. And I thought, oh my gosh, I thought this was done. And I went on YouTube, and I went on his cousin's YouTube page, and they're older. And on his page, pinned to the top, the very first video was his wedding ceremony.
Oh, jeez.
He's now actually married.
Wow.
I actually don't even know where he lives now. I mean, I have an idea because I know where this woman lives. But my point that I'm going to get to right now is I watched your video. I have been treated for anxiety. I do have a counselor. I go to a 12-step group for, I go to Al-Anon.
Okay.
And I do have a spiritual center, and I happen to work for a church. And I do have some amazing friends that I've made here. Just a few, but they are grounded people who are very kind and full of love and
Good.
sharing.
Good.
But last night, I finally got a little bit of solace in understanding, because you can imagine this all unraveled so quickly that
Right.
it was unfathomable to me.
Yeah.
The level of cruelty was unfathomable.
Right.
And I watched your video about the cycle that the narcissist goes through of the love bombing all the way up to they promise you the ring, they don't give you the ring, and then all of a sudden they leave you and you think they're having this great time, and there's another person with a ring on their finger.
Right.
And you just mentioned their abundance of shame and their lack of spirit. And you mentioned something that my friend said to me: you should be glad that you're not the one with the ring on your finger.
Absolutely.
And
yeah.
And I am.
Yes. I mean,
am.
could you imagine being that woman? I mean, look at what he was trying to do with you right before the wedding. I mean, when we consider this stuff, here's this guy playing with you right before he's marrying a woman who he says he loves. And now think of this poor woman who believes that this guy actually loves her and cares for her, but you know differently. Dude, I mean, you're like, girl, he was out with me right before. He was still trying to get with me up to the day you got married, because that's really what he was trying to do. When he was saying, well, let's work this out, what they're really trying to do is say, well, let's give it one more go round. Come on, let's have fun.
What I was most grateful for, and I don't remember exactly which of your videos, because you have so many, and they are very, very helpful. It's just, I felt a wave of momentary peace come over me. You know, I have PTSD from this and from previous. I mean, I had a childhood that wasn't easy, and many people do. But what I want to thank you for is doing the videos. But sorry about that dog. Just reminding everyone something that my brother said to me, and that is that we will get through this.
Yeah.
It's not you'll get through it. It's we will get through this. And without sharing and giving people, you know, the best advice I ever got, it was two things. When you're in pain or grief, make sure you're not alone. So I was able to reach out to my good friends and listen to your videos and go to my group.
Yeah.
But also find the good people and keep them around you.
That's so important.
If I didn't have them, I don't know that I would have the fortitude to be even telling this story without breaking down in tears, as I have been over the past. And I also want to give everyone permission to wail and sob and cry.
Yeah.
And feel whatever you need to feel, even if somebody has told you that your feelings aren't valid.
Right.
Because they are.
Yeah.
This really is the most. I sat down and I wrote out 2 pages of red flags and abusive things that he's done to me over the past 6.5 years, so that if I ever forget, I have it in writing and I can keep adding to it. But if I ever forget and he ever tries to come into my sphere of influence again, all I have to do is read that list right up to the very last thing where he told me he loved me and I saw his wedding on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's foul. It's a very sick and demented person. And
it is.
Again, I'm calling to tell you thank you, because
well, thank you.
Your willingness to share this and your willingness to lead your groups and post your videos and take your time to explain this has been really helpful to me.
Well, good.
And I know other people.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I'm very grateful. You have a good support system, and I'm glad the videos have helped you as well. And you're absolutely right. We are going to get through this, right? That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for that.
Well, to you and to all your listeners, I just want you all to know I'm very grateful to all of you.
Right on. Thank you. That's appreciated. I know it is.
hmm that's all I really wanted to say. I know that sometimes when you pour your heart and soul into doing something like you're doing, um, it's nice to know that your work is appreciated
It
and
is. It truly
maybe
is.
okay.
I
Yeah.
do appreciate it. I'm so thankful for calls like this, and I'm thankful to hear when people are able to stand up for themselves in a situation and finally say enough is enough. You've seen enough, you've heard enough, and you're ready to put a stop to it because you realize that going any further, it's no longer them or their fault. It then becomes a our own responsibility to stop ourselves. You know what I mean? There used to be this
Mhm.
saying, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice,
Mhm.
shame on me. Right? And then fool me
Yeah.
three times, well, I don't know where you go from there. But I think that a lot of people get caught up in that. And so good for you for being that beacon of like, no, I've seen this and you just used it. You kept showing it back to him. Dude, this is you're getting married and this is the type of stuff that just wards these people off. Because the sad truth is, it's sick. Nobody wants to hear this, but the sad truth is these abusive personality types, they really get themselves into this place where they don't see anything wrong with it.
Yeah, and that's what's killing. I
It's
often say,
terrifying. Yeah, and that's why they get themselves
okay,
and their friends to rally around saying, "You're crazy. What's wrong with you? There's nothing wrong with this." And they'll make up any excuse for it. "Oh, we're not married yet. Oh, you're making a big deal out of it. Oh, you were coming on to me. Oh, this, oh." And they just but at the heart of it, it's they don't care. They don't care about
no.
other people. They don't even care about themselves, apparently. They just don't care. And you and I and we, right? We have to know this
Mhm.
because we have to be the ones that like babysitters almost, if you will, like adults with little kids. We have to be the ones that stand up and say, no, 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 this is not
Yeah.
okay. This is not
And
okay.
also,
Yeah.
I want everyone to remember the thing that I had to keep saying to myself is this how much you value yourself to let this continue?
Right.
I know there are women who would have, or people, men and women, who would have looked the other way and said, yeah, let's try and work it out.
Yeah.
But literally, he said he was going to fly back here. He had an itinerary and everything. He was going to fly back here on September 24th, and his YouTube wedding video was dated October 2nd.
Yeah.
That is just the level
Sure.
of illness
Yeah, it's
is,
ill. It's sick. He was gonna fly to get one more in, right? Have his have
yep,
his have his one last rodeo, or maybe not even a last one. Who knows? If you wouldn't have caught on to it, and what he was hoping for was that you would be his secret side chick for life, and
exactly.
that would be your life. He would be married and have his family, and
hmm
you'd be
The
one
other woman.
you'd be one mistress.
hmm
And what it would do and
Yep.
what it typically does to women is it would rob you of ever being able to go and find a real relationship. You'd stay constantly living and waiting for him to leave his family and come give you the little bits of crumbs. And so it's important what you just said. This comes down to you valuing yourself. This comes down to
hmm
people being able to have enough self value to say, wait a minute, let me get this right. You want to have another family and you want me to wait for you, come visit me once every 6 months? And what? What? It's sick.
Yep.
It's sick. How
It
it's
is.
it's
It
almost
is
like you got
sick.
to say, like I said, I feel like we're adults dealing with little kids, and we got to say, how dare you, you little punk? Seriously, you
And
know?
I've said to my friends that what's most distressing about this kind of abuse is that, if for everything that I wrote down, and I told you it was 2 full pages that I'm continue to adding to,
Yeah.
if if every offense was a bruise or a cut or a burn or a scar, I would have been able to go to the police and he would have been arrested by now.
Yes, but it's
So that's
not.
that's one of the most frustrating things is that I don't, all I can do if I need a restraining order, if I decide to do something or I feel unsafe and And for anybody else who's suffering, is your scars are spiritual, mental, and emotional. And
Right.
just because you can't show that to somebody doesn't mean they aren't as painful, if
Right.
not more so.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
he would be in jail by now if I could show
right.
that for every offense was a scar. He would have been arrested years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Right. Absolutely.
And I don't mean just arrested by the law. Maybe even arrested in his behavior overall. So,
right.
Again, I just am thankful that we are getting through it.
Right on.
That you're willing to share, and that everyone who's tuning in is willing to make themselves and the world a little bit better for having been here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you for calling and sharing that with us. I appreciate that.
And thank you for your help, everyone. Take care and be well.
All righty. Good night.
Good night.
That's a good story. Someone being able to get out of the situation, being able to see what's going on and be like, no, and confront it. And oftentimes, I think that this caller did the right thing, confronting it with evidence. By the way, I see on YouTube, or here's your pictures on social media. Is this who you're with? Nothing. Listen, if you want to make a narcissistic person run, you can't get caught up in arguments with them, because they can twist and turn in arguments. How many of you know that, right? If you try to argue with a narcissistic person, a bully, a psychopath, sociopath, if you try arguing with them, they will use twisted logic. They will debate you. They will run circles around what we call word salad, throwing confusing thoughts and confusing things into the mix, and they'll change the subject, and they'll dodge the questions, and you're talking about one thing and they're talking about 5 other things, and it's very difficult. You can't argue them, and ultimately you look frustrated, and you look like you're the one that's having issues, and that's what they want. But if you're able to just show up to the narcissist's face, this is you, and you have a picture of what they're doing, or you have an email of something they sent, or you have a letter that they wrote, or you have something, evidence that shows them who they are, and all you got to do is this is you? This is you? Really? You're talking to me? This is you? They're done. They run and hide. So we really need to take that into consideration, what she shared with us. Enough of the playing games with them and the arguing with them and giving them opportunities to explain themselves. How many of you sometimes, like, you like to live in this place where, well, I want them to explain themselves. I want them to explain themselves and maybe offer an apology, and maybe there's a hope that they're a good person in there. We got to stop that nonsense. We got to stop that game playing, because these narcissistic people, bullies, psychopaths, they're not going to explain themselves. They're going to play games just trying to get what they want. That's it. And that's why you have to be the one to say, no, this is you, right? This is you kissing that other person. This is you this is you. And you're telling me that, what do you think I am, stupid? Right? And they run. They'll run because they can't ignore that, right? All right, so let's see what else we got here. From Joe, why narcissist from the Olive Branch pretending to be Sandy Crazy Town next? Okay, well, I thought I already answered that. Oh, that was from 925. Yeah, that's old news. Sorry about that. By the way, the phone is available if anybody would like to call in. The phone number to call in is pinned up at the top of the channel, or at the top of the chat. Call that number. Anybody, you're welcome to call in. See if there's anything I missed here. Oh, I kind of want to address, I think it was Mark Hobbs' question about, is it okay to treat them bad if they've treated you bad? I think that was a question. Something like that. Look, the problem with it, treating them bad. Listen, we should never want to treat anybody bad. It's not in our character to do that, right? And the fact that you have to ask that, the fact that you would have to ask, is it okay to treat someone bad if they treat you bad? There's a lot going on in that question. Here's what's really going on in that question. That question says this: I'm not the type of person to treat somebody bad, but I'm wondering if it's okay if I treat somebody bad who's treated me bad. So what that question is really saying is it okay for me to break character? Right? Is it okay for me to break character? Can I see what it's like to be them? That's kind of what we're asking. Can I be like them? Can I act like a narcissist? Can I be the one to feel the power of being mean and cruel? Right? I think that there is some kind of if we're not careful, we can teeter-totter on that fascination of what it would be like to be Dr. Evil, right? Because it seems, especially with the narcissistic people, that they're enjoying it. And evil, in a weird way, does enjoy what they do. But that doesn't mean that we are going to enjoy it. So the problems with this is that since it's not your natural character to treat people coldly and cruelly with intention, all that's going to happen is you're going to generate guilt inside of yourself. Narcissistic people are really good at looking at you saying, why are you being so mean? And the moment you start to hear this stuff, you're going to be like, am I being mean? No, doggone it. And you're going to feel bad. So it'll never work. Narcissistic people, they flop like a fish. They're like the two-headed coin. Their heads, their tails. They are either bullying or they are being bullied. And when they're bullying, they're very intense about it, right? How many of you have dealt with the aggressive, hostile, narcissistic bully? And man, they really lay it on thick. They attack with the verbal insults, this and that. But watch this. If you ever attack them back, man, they flip to that instant side of the coin, and they play that with intensity too. How dare you treat me? You have no right to talk to me like that. None. You have no right to say the things that you've said to me like that. You're judgmental. You're selfish. Aren't you supposed to be Christian? Blah, blah. And they just lay it on thick. The way you can look at this is just like a toddler. They are extreme on both sides. So the question to ask yourself before when you say, can I treat them meanly, right? You got to ask yourself this. Are you ready to really get tangled up? Are you ready to experience what it feels like to, here it is for you. Are you ready to experience what it feels like to go and be mean to a 5-year-old? I want you to envision this. Imagine going to a playground just being mean to a 5-year-old, right? Right? And then watching them cry and walking away from that. Will you really feel good? Probably not. Probably not. I think that some of the best way, Mark, the best way that we can go about this is in dealing with people who are toddlers, 5-year-olds. One of the things we need to learn to do is have the right boundaries at the right time, at the right moment. So now, does it make sense to walk up to a 5-year-old who you haven't seen in 2 weeks and start treating them meanly? Right? No, you wouldn't feel good about that. But now watch this. Let's say you're at a playground and a 5-year-old comes and smacks you. Do you have every right to spin around and say, don't touch me again? Absolutely. Even if it shocks them or scares them. Why not, right? Hopefully it teaches that 5-year-old a lesson. They don't run around hitting people. This is how we need to start to become with narcissistic people, with bullies, right? A part of us have become a little bit too soft in the moment. We stopped learning how to react in the moment, allowing narcissistic people, toxic people to push and shove and do stuff at that moment. And then typically what we want to do is come back a month later, a week later, a month later, 6 months later, even a year later, and put our finger in their face. A year ago, you called me this name. Like a 5-year-old, they're not going to remember. They're going to pretend not to remember. So that doesn't work, right? But again, I think we need to learn better tactics right at the moment, right? That's really all that works. Yeah. And being able to have healthy boundaries and say no to somebody, it doesn't mean you're being mean. in a given situation. Someone's crossing your boundaries, you need to say no. That's all there is to it. All there is to it. Wow. Well, listen, I know it's a holiday. I know it's a holiday. It's snack stick day, right? Pumpkin pie day, whatever it is. Columbus Day. Sausage pizza day. But not getting a whole lot of phone calls tonight. We had one. So with that, I'm not sure. What's up, everybody? What's going on? What's going on? It's almost 10. No means no. So happy to have all of you here tonight. And I'm going to go ahead and we'll probably get it wrapped up tonight. And thankful for all of you being here tonight. Saturday morning is Royal We Fellowship. So for those of you who are not on Royal We Fellowship, I encourage you to join us Saturday morning. We're studying the Bible. We're in the Old Testament, and we're applying our understanding of narcissism into the ancient literature. And really, we're getting a lot. I mean, every single chapter of the Bible is a story of God helping us to understand the evil that we are up against in this world, the narcissism, the toxicity of where we live. It's really cool to get that kind of guidance. Hi, Chrissy. How are you? It's good to see you. It's good to see you here. So we're going to go ahead and head out. For those of you who have just gotten in right now, welcome. But we're going to go ahead and head out. And we'll be back next Monday night for Royal We Live Chat. Invite your friends, invite people. Hopefully we can get more telephone calls in and get people talking and sharing their stories and sharing questions so that we can all learn. Sound good? And with that, I'm glad, Emily, you've been enlightened tonight. Amen to that. I have too. All right, so we'll be back next Monday night, everybody. Have a blessed night. Have a blessed rest of the week. Lorna Dixon, hugs to you. And as well, all the way over in Sweden. And Minnesota, Jude, good night. Tanya, thank you for everything that you do tonight as well. And everybody in the Royal We Chat, have a blessed night. Have a blessed week, everybody. We'll be back next week. All righty. Bye. Bye, Salon Savvy. You're awesome, too.